Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Jack Grisham, and I'm an alcoholic. And I want to thank you guys for having me, and I'm wondering what I am going to say. Sometimes it's like a little, AA has some funny little jokes, and one of them is getting an agnostic to speak at the spiritual breakfast is, it's like, wait, don't you want me to roll in midnight at 12? Isn't that basically, and I feel like a vegan at a prime rib barbecue. Because I have torn this program apart. And I've torn us apart. And I don't consider it disrespectful to do so. If we don't question ourselves, who does? I would sit with people sometimes and I'd start listening to things as this journey went on. And sometimes I have people say, they go, well, why don't you talk about your drunk log? Well, because more than half of my life has been spent with you. 31 of the last years of my life have been spent in Alcoholics Anonymous. This has been my life. I would sit in meetings sometimes and I'd hear guys say, a newcomer would come in and out and in and out, and they'd say, he's too sick to stay. I'd say, why don't you ever look in the mirror and ask yourself, how did you fail that man? Instead of, he's too sick to stay. What message didn't we deliver? How didn't we treat them that drove them away from us? And then I hear these others that are probably non-alcoholics say, well, if we drove them out, the booze will drive them back. Well, I guess you forgot that we're dealing with a fatal illness because they don't all come back. I've sat here for 31 years watching people die. I realized for me that our second step works in two directions. I didn't believe I had a fatal illness when I got here, but the longer I sat here, I watched you die. And I learned that this is a fatal illness. And I also learned that their recovery comes from here, that we can be healed from here, that we can be restored to sanity coming through here. I'm a God guy, you can imagine, which is so crazy. I had a priest one time say, I have never heard an agnostic quote scripture as much as you do. And why? I didn't come out and just roll out and say I'm agnostic. I studied, and through study got me to this point. I believed in God when I rolled in here because I never thought of God. Never thought about it. I took it for granted. When a drink was on a table, I didn't think a cigarette butt was in it. Oh, that's cocaine? Give me some. Now, after being sober this long, somebody offers me an aspirin. I say, has that bottle been opened? It's like, are you kidding me? Anyway, that was never a question I had before. And when I rolled in here, I never questioned God. I didn't question the prayers. I didn't question any of that stuff. I was here. I remember one time I told Father Tom, I said, I got no trouble with faith. I believe. And then I searched. I searched and searched and searched. And I didn't find anything but more answers. More questions, I mean. And I remember waking up one morning and I started to pray and I said, and a lot of times I wake up praying. I would wake up already praying. My prayer would wake me up. And I woke up one morning and I said, why bother? There is no God. That's not a bad place to be. There's a line in the big book which I love. I wish I could just talk to Dr. Bob for a bit. And he was a rascal, just to say that. I love you guys with a watchers. Foul language is not a sign of spiritual growth. Oh my God. Don't read any history of AA. Please don't. Live in that fantasy. In one of the books, I think it's Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers, the guy says, I didn't like having Bob over to the country club because he spoke the language of the gutter. What the fuck does that mean? You know, I mean, it's like, oh my God. You know, what is Bob dropping F-bombs at the gin game? You know, what is it? And even that so much, because I found that these 31 years have been a journey of discovery, to not just hear something in a meeting and let it blow by, but find out what they're talking about. And when they say foul language is not a sign of spiritual growth, where did it come from? I'll tell you. Ephesians 4:29. Let no unclean word come from your mouth. Say nothing that doesn't build someone. Back then, the F word wasn't even a real word. Never even used it. They're not talking about the F word. They'd be talking about, I don't know, you remind me of the testicles of a syphilitic goat. I mean, I don't know what it is. All right. As you can see, I'm completely off these notes, but what are they saying? When they say to not say something to build someone up, does your speech lift or does your speech tear down? And it has nothing to do with saying the F word. When people leave you, do they feel better after they leave you? Do they feel uplifted? Do they feel like they can continue? Or do they feel judged and torn down? Like you just ripped them apart for them doing the best they can do. One of my other favorite lines, Book of James. Trace down faith without works is dead. You'll find it in the book of James, and it's funny because they wanted to call us the James gang. That was a couple of the people, that's what they wanted. Because we follow that so closely. But that faith without works, yeah, that's great, and I love it, and that's fun. But you want to know what's better? There's a better line in there that I love. It says, you tell me you believe in God, so what? Even demons believe in God, and they shudder. Show me that you believe by the way you treat others. It's not in our belief, it's in our actions. Bill said even early on in the story, how do we grow spiritually? How do we grow spiritually? Not through prayer and meditation. Those are intellectual pursuits. How do we grow spiritually? We grow spiritually by work and self-sacrifice for others. Anyway, I'm a big book guy, which, as you can imagine, and it's terrifying. Thank God I've forgotten most of it now. But I'll tell you, if you're brand new and you get by a book guy, run away. Run away. The minute they say, I'm a book guy, move on. Book guys are frightening. If you've ever talked to them, you know how many periods there are on page 63 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous? Oh my God, it's like Eddie Murphy and Bowfinger or something, you know, it's like, if you divide those periods by 3, you're going to come up with the number 666. Is that what you want out of this? And what? What? Oh my God. They drop the word suggestion. Really? Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about the suggestions that were given to a certain country in World War II that they all followed. It was not, it wasn't an order, it was a suggestion, and I followed it. But anyway, all right, just don't worry about that last reference. But I'm a big book guy, and I'm studying, and I love that book, and I'm tearing it apart, and I'm jumping in, and I'm getting old dictionaries, and I'm hunting whatever guys down that are still alive, and asking questions, and blah, blah, and I'm up in their business, man. And I'm doing it, studying it, and then I'm judging you. Somebody would stand up, they'd be talking in a meeting, sharing the meeting. God forbid any newcomer that ended up sitting next to me. The guy would be talking, I'd be going, bullshit. What a load of shit. And then, not only am I an alcoholic, I'm a confrontational alcoholic. And as you might have noticed, I'm not small. So I'd come up to somebody after the meeting, after they're mouthing off, I'd say, where'd you get that? They'd go, I got it from my sponsor who got it from his grand sponsor. Then your grand sponsor's an idiot. Frightening. It got to the point that it was Jack Grisham, party of one at the meeting. Now, as if the big book was not enough to tear up, I jumped into the New Testament and started tearing that up. But those people are harder to get a hold. They're all dead, you know what I mean? It's like, I want the real story. Like, all right, what really happened in Galilee? I know you said 12, but it was probably 3, right? You know? That was a big book reference. Anyway, all right. 100 does sound better than 8. Anyway. Nobody reads that stuff? I love nowadays, because I've talked this for a while, and people get mad at me, but nowadays new information has come out on Bill and his writings, and you find out maybe I wasn't so wrong on a lot of it. Anyway, but I want to hunt those guys down and ask questions so they're all dead. And then I would see guys like sitting at coffee shops with their Bibles open, and I'll tell you, if any of those people ever bother you, I'll tell you how to make it stop. Go up and confront them first. I would walk up and go, oh, I see you reading that. Hey, we got the same dad. And they'd shut the book and try to look away. And especially because we talk about God so much differently than other people talk about God. They talk about God like, God. And we talk about God like, yeah, God and I went over to Taco Bell, got a couple of tacos, where, you know, God and I were out by the pool smoking, just running some stuff over, you know. You know, God gave me a special message yesterday just for you. You know, whatever it is. Anyway, so Scott Redmond turned me on to Father DeMello. And I love Scott, man. I miss him, and I loved him. He was such a great guy. And he turned me on to Father DeMello. So I'm start listening to DeMello, and oh my God, the first time I ever looked up Anthony DeMello, I get on the online, right, on the computer, and I look for one of his readings, and there's a warning on the top of the reading. It says, to progress in this study could put your soul in danger. Oh my God. I couldn't click it fast enough. You know what I'm saying? I took more time clicking porn websites than I clicked at that. It's like, do I want to watch this or this? No, I'll go for the soul in danger. I'm going straight to it. And anyway, so I find out that DeMello's dead. He's dead. I want to ask him some questions. So I contacted his people. I said, hey, I know he's dead, but do you have anyone else that thinks like that I could talk to? They go, what is this call about? They're just tripping. But anyway, so I ended up talking to the Jesuits in New York. The Jesuits in New York sent me the Jesuits in Orange County, and I'm not Catholic. I'm nothing. I am nothing. Jesuits in Orange County direct me to a spiritual advisor. Just like Bill had a spiritual advisor. It actually said on his door, spiritual advisor. And I'd walk in, and he was tripping when I first came in. He goes, I have never had one of you here before. But let me tell you something. The good thing about the Jesuits is you can say, I don't believe in God, and they say, I understand. So we sat and we talked, and we would study, and every day, Brother Charlie, I'd come in once a week, and Brother Charlie would say, Jack, what are you studying? What are you doing? What's happening? Okay, let me go back. Tearing apart the big book, word by word, line by line, phrase by phrase, studying, tearing. Grab the New Testament, word by word, line by line, phrase by phrase, tearing it apart. I come into Brother Charlie one day, I say, Charlie, what do you think's the best translation of the New Testament? What do you think's the best translation? Now, I'm in. If he tells me to learn Aramaic, I'm going to do it. I'll get love and service in Aramaic tattooed across my back. I am in, man. And Charlie looks at me and he shakes his head and he says, man, he goes, it's such a shame that you're that hung up in the words. I go, huh? Because I'm thinking he's going to say, dig deeper, study harder. Jack, what a good boy. Here's an Aramaic primer. Let's dive in. He says nothing of that. He says, you know what? I don't want to hear another word of scripture coming out of your mouth. He goes, I want you to shut that book. And he was talking about his book. I want you to shut that book and I want you to stop it. I want you to take your walk on the beach. I live on the beach and I take a walk. And he says, I want you to take that walk. And when you take that walk, I want you to ask God to come with you. And I want you to be quiet. I want you to listen. So I did. I went out and I took my walk. I said, please come with me. I went out and took my walk. In taking that walk, that meditation, what came to me was that by ripping apart the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, line by line, word by word, phrase by phrase, I was trying to control the program. If I could pin you down to a line, to a word, to a phrase, then I controlled you. My next realization was, and by tearing apart my God at that time, the red print in the New Testament, line by line, word by word, phrase by phrase, I was trying to control God. It wasn't a happy awakening, I'll tell you. I have never had a happy awakening in my life. All my awakenings have been shit. I went back and I grabbed the big book. And I'm a big book guy. I used to have a big book meeting at my house Monday nights, 45 minutes. We didn't do the readings, nothing. We're in the book. Ready to go, let's go. 45 minutes. I would take people through that book one line at a time. That room was packed with long-timers, one line at a time. The last time we went through the 164, it took us 2.5 years. I had a newcomer guy tell me one time, he goes, how long does this meeting last? I go, bitch, you're going to be sober about 5 years before you roll out of here. People would leave, come back 2 months later and go, you're on the same page. Yeah, how long can we talk about rarely have we seen, bro? Sit down. So I rolled back into this. And guess what? Everything I knew and saw had disappeared. I picked up the book and it was like I'd never seen it before. I looked at it, it was like almost coming to after a stroke. Like, what is this? Who are you? I looked at the book and I'm looking for rigidity, man. I'm looking. My first stop is that third step prayer. We get our guys to do it. We say, learn this prayer, say this prayer. And I'm a big fan of breaking down the prayer, line by line, breaking it down. What are you saying? Learn what you're saying. Don't just be a parrot. Learn it. Guess what? We get our new people. We say, learn that prayer, learn that prayer, learn that prayer. You know what Bill Wilson says after that? After that third step prayer? He says the wording's optional. You say anything you want for a third step prayer. You know some guy's third step prayer is F it, I can't take it anymore? You know that's a very valid third step prayer. And I have seen more of those guys stick around than the newcomer superstar. The guys that are so beaten they don't even care what's going on. I look at that, I'd never seen those words before. So I jump to the fourth step. I know it's rigid. Lines and columns, I've seen it. Lines and columns, lines and columns. You know what it says before the fourth step? Bill says, we were usually as definite as this example. Usually, not always. Not every time. Not just like this if you want to stay sober. Usually. Sometimes we do other shit around here. Do you know that there's another example of our fourth step in the big book? It's in the back. And it's Dr. Bob's version of the fourth step, and he sold himself short. And the guy rolls it. And you want how Bob did the fourth step? Bob listened to your story, and then he gave you your defects of character. Try that. I've done it. It's frightening. If you're brand new, great, do a four-step, just as they say, lines and columns out of the big book, blah, blah, blah. But if you've got 8 balls and you've been around a while, hand out pencil and paper to everyone that knows you. Have them take your fourth step for you. You will find a list of defects the likes of which you have never seen. I do what? Yeah, every day, asshole. Oh my God. And all the way through the book, it's like that. There's nothing in there. Sometimes we do this, sometimes we do that, sometimes this. Do you know what it talks about when the men and women should get back together? Guess how many people should know? 2. 2 people. Not 6 of you. Not you, her sponsor, your grand sponsor, her grand sponsor. Not 6 of you. 2. 2 of you. Jump back in if you feel like it. Seems right, jump in. Doesn't, jump back out. I don't know. We don't know. We're not God. You go to the 11th step, it talks about just, hey, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to screw up. We're going to try this. Go ahead and do it. Do you know the difference with what Bill was selling then versus what we sell now? We sell fear-based sobriety is what we sell. And it's sickening. Don't get in a relationship. You're going to get drunk. Really? AA's loaded with bad relationships. You know why you get drunk? Because you didn't work a proper first step is why you got drunk. Not where you were, what you were doing, who you were with, and it's the thought that you could take a drink with impunity or your lack of protection altogether. I ended up at a sponsorship conference in Washington. It was a mistake, I'm sure. Oh, is this the right Jack? No, it's not. Anyway. Because I'm not a fan of anyone putting their dependence on anyone other than a higher power. You baby them, you kill them. That's what I was taught. You baby them, you kill them. You think for them, you kill them. You want to think for somebody? Then get a rope and strap yourself around their ass and ride with them 24 hours a day for the rest of their life. Because as long as you think for them, they will get in a situation that they cannot think for themselves. And you will kill that man or woman. But I guess your vanity, your pride, and your love of control is more important than the life of someone here. Anyway, I ended up at a sponsorship convention. I didn't have a tie. What a son of a bitch. And I love that. They all wore suits in AA back then. Everybody wore a suit. Frank Nitti wore a suit. God damn it, they all wear suits. Anyway, you know Frank Nitti, Al Capone. Is that better for you? Al Capone wore a suit. Al what? Anyway. So I end up at this conference. I say, let's play a game. Let's play, because I love drama. I'm pretty much straight. But there's some edges that are probably not. And I love it that my girl is so accepting. Anyway. But I do like drama, and I like show tunes. And I would have went for West Side Story if I was you. But I don't like the Cats thing. Anyway. I would have, the Puerto Ricans grumble, fair fight. But if they want to rumble, we'll do it tonight. Anyway. I can play both parts, Tony and Maria. All right. But, so I love drama, I love role play. So I'm at the sponsorship convention. I go, let's play a game. Let's have some drama. Let's have role play. All right, let's work on being good sponsors. All right. So you got your guy, and he comes to you and he says, he's got 5 months, maybe pushing 6 months, probably not. Got 5 months. He comes to you and he says, I'm going to leave my home group. I've decided. I've got an idea, a business proposition cooking in my head. I'm going to split my home group and I'm going to go out over here and I think I'm going to try for a hostile takeover of a company. Because I'd like to be president. Oh. What would you tell him? You better take a commitment, young man. Get involved, stay in your home group. Stay tight or you'll get drunk. Don't travel in your first 60 days. Blah, 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 blah. I let them go and go and go. They were having a blast, giving their thoughts on what he should do. Now I paused for dramatic effect. And I said, well, it's a good thing that none of you were sponsoring Bill Wilson. Because not one of us would be sober in this room if you had been running his show. Bill left his home group, left his spot, left all that he had, his whatever at the time, took off to Akron. The deal fell through. He wanted to drink and ended up with Bob. And we're sitting here because of that collapse. And then it makes me wonder, what have we stopped in the last 80 years because we know better? And you're the ones that supposedly believe in God, but you don't believe enough to get out of the way. I have my experience to share, but it doesn't mean that that new man's experience is going to be like mine. Could have a whole different experience. I think about the things in my life that I thought were the worst that later on turned out to be the best. And the things that were the best turned out to be the worst. And the things that I thought were good stayed good. And the things that I thought were bad stayed bad. But I didn't know. You know what's interesting? One of the first sins, since we're Sunday, I'll drop this on you. You know, one of the first sins is a sin of will. Will is the first sin. Don't eat of this tree. F you, we're in. And that's so funny is what was the fruit of that? The fruit of that was the supposed knowledge of good and bad. Look at us. We're still paying for it. We still have the supposed knowledge of good and bad. We refuse to trust God. Anyway, real quick, because I know we got some sort of sporting event today. We want to get out of here. All I'm going to say is you didn't like San Francisco 6 months ago, but you and God can straighten that out later. So what's my deal? So I ask guys sometimes, I hear these guys, they're always up in God's business, up in God's business. I say, well, did you take a third step? Did you take a third step? If you took a third step, protection and care is over there. It's gone. Wander off now. Get busy. Do your thing. Live this life. I have my stuff in storage. I have a contract with the storage people. As long as I pay my bill, my stuff stays in storage. I don't call them every day. You still got my shit over there, man? Jack, stop calling. Well, things might have changed. Look, we have a contract to watch your stuff until you stop paying. Your stuff is here. And even after you stop paying, we'll give you 90 days before we auction it. So what's my deal? My deal is to pay my bill. That deal for those people, whoever, is to watch my back as I'm paying it. Watch my back. How I pay my bill is I'm kind and I'm loving and I'm an ambassador of our program wherever I go, alcoholic or not. I was a concierge at a hotel for a while, one of the many jobs I've held. And I loved it, but the pay's crap. But for me, I like visiting and talking and doing stuff with people, and I like them to be happy. So one time this Australian guy sits down and he says, "Hey, mate, do you know how to get to the shopping center up there?" I go, "Oh, yeah. Take this bus, man. You go up here." I go, "What are you doing? You going to go to the movies? Going to go catch a movie while you're here?" He goes, "No, I ain't going to catch a movie." I go, "Well, Best Buy. Going to the Best Buy, get some electronics." "No, I ain't going to Best Buy." I go, "Oh, I'll get a coffee. Sit out in the I ain't getting a fucking coffee, mate." He goes, "I'm going to an AA meeting if you want to know." And I show him my secret decoder ring that I had on my hand. And he starts crying. And he says, "I relapsed last night, and I was in my room wanting to kill myself, and I don't know what to do." I go, "I got you, bud." I walk over to my manager. I go, "I'm out of here." He goes, "What?" I go, "I don't work for you." I go, "I'm going with him." So I take this guy to a meeting. I split work. I don't care. It's just a job. I split work. We go to a meeting. I know he's still sketchy. Afterwards, he's sketchy. You know what I mean? He's not well. I go, "Look, man." I go, "Why don't you come home with me? Why don't you just come home and stay the night at my house, and I'll bring you back in the morning?" And he looks at me, he says, "Are you fair dinkum?" I go, "No, dude." I go, "I'm straight, man." He goes, "No, are you fair dinkum?" I go, "I'm straight." He goes, "Are you fair dinkum?" I go, "Okay, one time, man." And then he says, "No, are you telling the truth?" I go, "Yeah, I'm telling the truth. Come home with me." And he came home with me. And he came and stayed on the couch, and my wife and daughter welcomed him and brought him in, because I'm just bringing people home like that. Bring him in, he had a great night, and I'm still friends with him 20-something years later. Now, the willingness to go, and how important it is to go when we don't know where we're going. We call it going on a thriller. We got a plan, but all of a sudden something happened. That road's closed. That's gone. That's this. Well, we're rolling anyway. Let's go here instead. Let's see what happens. I'm waiting for the mail lady one day. It's raining. I work at home, so I'm always around looking for somebody to talk to. And and Becky, that's my mail lady, Becky. Come on, how many of you know your mail person's name? Really, they deliver your mail, you don't care, huh? All right, anyway, I care. Becky, lesbian with a very beautiful partner. Anyway, so, I'm waiting for Becky. I see her, she's pushing her cart, coming up, it's raining. Get out there, I start talking to her, all of a sudden this woman and her son walk up. The woman's in her late 50s, son early 30s. They walk up and they say, we're here looking for the youth hostel. We want to stay and it's closed. And they're from Sweden. I say, "Yeah, it's been closed for a year. They haven't taken the website down. And there's only one bus that comes through once an hour. And it's starting to sprinkle harder. And they've got their suitcases." I go, "Why don't you come in? Come in here. Come in my house. Come in the house." And I think that line was used in Texas Chainsaw Massacre also. Oh, but I was about to cut him up with some spirituality. Anyway, so they come in, I put on a pot of tea. We start talking, and I see a cross on her neck. And I said, "Oh, I'm one of those." Now, normally that's not a good thing to say because they always go John something. It's like, yeah, I'm saved. Come on, bud. Can't you get something else out of there? And anyway, so we start talking for a minute, and she looks at me and she says, I think we'll stay by you. I said, oh, okay. There's a hotel over there. She sends Johannes to go to the hotel. He gets a room. We talk a little bit, and he comes back. I go, what are you guys doing? She goes, well, we're going to this church. She goes, do you want to go? I go, no. I go, I've been over there. No, thank you. Not for me, but I'm sure you're going to have a great time. I go, why don't you guys come back in the morning? I'll make us some crepes. So they go to church. Next morning, I'm making crepes for these people. And we're talking. I go, how'd it go? They go, it didn't go well. They go, they separated the men from the women. We felt cold. We didn't feel part of. I said, it's just, man, it's okay. It's just, they're probably a bad night. Bad night. I go, what are you guys doing tonight? And they named this other church, this great cathedral made of glass. And they go, we're going over here tonight. You want to go? I go, no, I do not. I go, but if you go, come back in the morning and we'll take a walk on the beach. They went. I said, how'd it go? They go, oh, so much money. So much money. Just money, money, money. I said, I understand. Sometimes people get sidetracked. Anyway, they stayed with me for 2 weeks. And one day I was helping a new guy. He had gone to the hospital and he dropped his car. And he needed to get the car picked up, and I had to go pick it up. And anyway, I was with them. The mom couldn't go, and the son was going to go with me. And so the son went and rode with me. And while I'm riding with them, because I'm getting to know them now after a couple of weeks, and I'm getting a feeling inside. What the big book talks about is a hunch or an inspiration. And I got a feeling about this guy, and I said, Johannes, why is your mother worried about you? I go, she's not worried about your father and the sister, but she seems so concerned about you. I go, why is she so worried? And he looks at me and he says, before we left Sweden, I tried to kill myself. I was taking a lot of drugs and alcohol, and I had tied weights to my body, and I jumped off a bridge. He said, my mother brought me to America to be healed. I said, all right then. 6,000 miles you come, and you end up in my yard. Oh, there are no coincidences here, my friend. And I told him his mother, I said, do you want to see what I do? I go, would you like to come with me and see what I do? So I took him to an AA meeting. Now, I warned him. I said, you will hear the word God, but sometimes it's bracketed by the F word on both sides. Oh, my God. I roll him into a meeting, and guess what? Some guy that speaks Swedish came up and started talking to him. And you know what they saw from us? They didn't see the men separated from the women. They didn't see cash. They didn't see somebody in charge. They didn't see this hierarchy of sobriety, this tree that we go to get to God. It was one man, one woman, shoulder to shoulder, standing in the room, demonstrating our love to each other. That's what they saw. I'll end with this. I think the best thing that ever could have happened to me was to stop believing in God. Because where that led me to is a place of compassion. Led me to a place of understanding and a place of humility. Take umbrage with Bob when he said, if you're an agnostic or an atheist or have any other form of intellectual pride. I don't have any intellectual pride anymore. I don't know what it is or what it isn't. I have no idea what's happening. But I know that I'm grateful to be here. And what I'm most grateful for of you guys is my Tuesday coffee commitment. In a small little room at the beach, I make the best coffee. I know how to fill it to 80 cups. I know how to use Folgers. Use Folgers. God damn it, you get sober and start thinking you got to drink some special coffee. Use Folgers. You wear a suit and a tie to an AA meeting, but you drink frou-frou. Anyway. And make sure it's ready when somebody comes in. Make sure it's hot and it's ready, and make sure there's enough of it. And remember to put on a smile and welcome anyone that comes into that room. And treat that room as if it was your house. I want to thank you guys for having me.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.